It is unimaginable how miserable India was under British colonial rule. A young girl suffering from a urinary issue moved slightly to adjust herself, only to be beaten mercilessly. Her boyfriend, watching from the opposite side, was seething with anger but helpless. The girl was whipped so hard that her skin tore open. Nearby, an elderly man trembled as he continued spinning cotton thread, terrified of missing his quota. His own daughter was also subjected to brutal treatment. All eyes were focused on a child, considered the purest soul in the village. But once it was discovered she was a girl, her fate became unthinkable. Despite everyone's efforts to save her, the lashes of the whip still fell upon the young girl's back. She bit her fingers to stifle her cries, enduring the excruciating pain. Her parents, watching from a distance, were heartbroken but relieved their daughter's purity remained intact. However, the predator, Robert, noticed something unusual about the child. He questioned his men, who assured him the child was a boy, but the soft skin raised his suspicion. Robert dismounted his horse and approached the girl. At that moment, everyone's heart sank. Robert extended his ghastly hand toward the girl's waist, and the softness of her skin ignited his vile instincts. The child, unable to contain her fear, called out for her parents. Realizing she was an extraordinary beauty, Robert decided to take her with him. Her parents begged for mercy, but Robert's father shot them both dead on the spot. Within a minute, the family lost its parents. The brother tried to shield his sister, but she, unwilling to see him die, agreed to go with the monster. The villagers, accustomed to being subjugated, dared not intervene. Robert's father, General Jaha, was the tyrant ruling over them. In 1947, when India was under British colonial rule, children as young as 10 were abducted by British officers. Parents often chose to end their daughters' lives rather than see them fall into British hands. The villagers, regardless of age or gender, worked 12-hour shifts. Any slackness was punished with brutal whippings. Under this tyranny, India generated £500 million for Britain in just 3 years. While Jaha reveled in his success, he was unaware that India had already gained independence. This isolated village remained in the dark about the country's independence. That night, the girl was returned, lifeless and unrecognizable. Robert, consumed by his lust, demanded 10 more young girls from the village leader. Discovering the chief's daughter was even more beautiful, he threatened to kill the entire family if she wasn't sent to him. The chief made a cruel decision, digging a pit to bury his daughter alive to protect her dignity. The girl, without protest, climbed into the pit, covering her face with a wooden plank as soil was shoveled over her. Just as her life was about to end, her childhood friend dug a tunnel and saved her. However, escaping Robert's clutches was no easy task. They hid the girl in Robert's wardrobe, thinking the most dangerous place would be the safest. But Robert's sharp instincts led him to the wardrobe, where he found the girl. Misinterpreting the situation, he believed the chief had gifted his daughter to him. Just as Robert gloated, the girl struck him with a hammer. Enraged, he retaliated, but she fought back. At the critical moment, she stabbed Robert in the leg, and another villager delivered a fatal blow, killing him. General Jaha soon discovered his son's death. A servant overheard news of India's independence, but was mutilated to prevent him from spreading it. Despite this, he managed to inform the village. However, Jaha, furious over his son's death, vowed to massacre the entire village. He began killing villagers one by one, starting with the elderly. Inspired by the sacrifice of the village leader, the oppressed villagers finally rose in rebellion. Armed with nothing but sickles, the villagers turned on the soldiers. Jaha, cornered, begged for mercy. Upon learning of India's independence, the villagers executed Jaha and his men, freeing themselves from tyranny. And so, this dark chapter came to an end.